Brian De Palma's 1998 crime thriller Snake Eyes. Now, I only had this on VHS, so this for me was going to be a huge upgrade. I was really looking forward to it, and something that for me was a day one purchase, and I finally got it. This one I think was released like right at the tail end of December 2024. So even though it was technically a 2024 release, I'm going to include this in my 2025 4K pickups. If you haven't seen this one, this is just a great film. So Nicolas Cage's character, he's this over-exaggerated dirty cop, and this whole entire movie is taking place at a boxing event, and there's stuff going on. There's a lot of what exactly happened, and you kind of have to like look and see things. And so Nicolas Cage is trying to work all of that backwards, and so starting with like the what happened in the fight, and possibly some shenanigans going on with the actual fight, and then there's the assassination of I think it was a congressman or something. There was like a high-ranking political official that gets assassinated in this film, but it's something that everybody involved who did it, the whole conspiracy behind it, just a really great film overall. Really enjoy this one, high recommend. And so this is something that I was really looking forward to it, because when that original 2013 Blu-ray came out, a lot of people were complaining that the color timing was off, and a lot of negative responses and backlash about that 2013 Blu-ray. I just kind of stayed away, and so I never saw a point in upgrading to DVD if I wanted the Blu-ray already, and so having that VHS was perfectly fine. And I think the very last time I watched it was the same day that I was putting those shelves up. I remember sitting here building the shelves, and I had it playing on the TV, and at that time I was like, you know what, I really should just pull the trigger on that Blu-ray, because the 2021 version came out, and everyone was saying how the color correcting and the timing was fixed, and it was just a beautiful overall image. Now, both the 2013 and the 2021 Blu-ray, I believe, had 2K scans, but everyone was saying how great the picture and everything about that 2021 Blu-ray was getting tons of praise. But then I was like, you know what, pump the brakes. This is probably going to get a 4K soon, and I waited. Now, I think it's been a couple years since I did that, and I waited, but I finally got it, and I'm glad. So watching this for the very first time last night was amazing, a wonderful experience, and overall the 4K I thought was top notch. But going from a VHS to a 4K image, you're totally going to get that. So then I started thinking, because this movie right here just got announced for a 4K, but I like the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray had a 2K scan. The color correcting on it is completely perfect. I think our color timing is perfect. I think there's no issues with this Blu-ray. So do I need to upgrade to the 4K on day one? It's maybe not. So I watched this Blu-ray last night, and it got me thinking about this. So I watched Black Sheep. Now, overall, it's not really a conversation about how the film is. It's a technical conversation about this Blu-ray. So this one here was released like 3 times back in 2009, 2013, and 2017. Now, this is the 2017 version, but this one here, it has an amazing picture, and I think every single one of them got praise, because this one had a 2K scan, and I don't think there was any kind of restoration, but it was just a 2K scan and a beautiful overall image. Now, this is something that has nice tight film grain, and I think the colors are just absolutely amazing. So do I need the 4K on day one? I still am on the fence about that one, because as far as like the Chris Farley films, I like this one, but I think I like Tommy Boy a lot more, so 100% that's a day one purchase for me. But this is something that I'm kind of on the fence. Do I need it? And so it got me thinking about this. Now, never having that older Blu-ray, this one did include a Blu-ray, but that Blu-ray was from this same restoration. So it's going to have an amazing picture, and it's something I've said all the time. If you're kind of on the fence, or you're not really into the 4K format, if you can get a brand new restoration or a 2K or a 4K scan, at least on the Blu-ray, you're going to get a really good experience overall. Now, also, it depends on the source, and if they change any of the colors, there's definitely variables that could change that. But in general, I think the rule of thumb is having a 2K scan, a 4K scan, or a restoration in 2K or 4K, and putting it on a Blu-ray is going to look amazing. Now, there's something about these 4Ks overall, And that's why I wanted to double check it, because I get in the comments all the time how some people like it, some people don't, and then some people complain about some of the 4Ks being too dark. And I've seen it myself, I've seen it personally. I just went through and I did a test last year where I watched every single 4K movie I have. So watching 350 4K movies was pretty much a very daunting task, and a video coming out for that very soon. But this is something that, watching this and then thinking about that and then seeing some other recent reviews on some movies that I'm actually waiting for that people got already but I haven't, and as they do the side-by-sides or they do the swipe where they'll lay the image of the Blu-ray or the 4K down and then they'll swipe it over and then they'll show you like a half picture of the Blu-ray and a half picture of the 4K. The 4K always looks darker. While it's going to be cleaner, crisper, in certain scenes might be a little bit brighter, overall there seems to be like a contrast, like a dark contrast between the Blu-ray and the 4K. And so it's something that some people notice and some people don't. And overall, there are many 4Ks in my collection that are really stand out and amazing, but there are many 4Ks in my collection that have like a darker wash to it, or like it just kind of feels like that. And so I got to thinking, does this 4K have that same issue? So then I pop in the Blu-ray, and instantly we go from watching a movie on Dolby Vision Dark to watching a movie on Vivid. So just for that fact alone, and I do this all the time with my reviews, is I have all of my settings on my TV. Vivid, cinema mode, game mode. Well, game mode's different because it's the PlayStation. But cinema mode, Dolby Vision Dark, Dolby Vision Light, I have all of those set to the exact same colors, and so that's all set up exactly the same way. So the only differences between the modes are whatever the TV has built in for different contrast or different brightness levels. And so when I switch between the two, the color is like spot on, but then the only difference is going to be lighter or darker depending on how the TV has that set up. So I had to put the 4K back in on Dolby Vivid, or turn the Dolby, I had to put the 4K back in and switch it from Dolby Vision Dark to Vivid to just kind of compare the two. And as soon as I switched it from Dolby Vision Dark to Vivid, even though it's Dolby Vision image coming into my television, on the Vivid color setting, it was very comparable to this. And one thing I did notice going from the two is the one scene where they're sitting in the stairwell and they're talking and they're kind of, you're learning what's going on with the whole backstory. And so you're learning all that stuff, and Nicolas Cage is learning all that stuff for the first time. When they're talking, it's a very intimate shot, and between their heads, when you go from Dolby Vision Dark to Vivid, there was some more noise and film grain between their heads, which is totally fine. It wasn't anything jarring or bothersome, but it was kind of muted or toned down, or pretty much virtually went away when I put the Dolby Vision Dark on. But comparing that picture, I personally think that the Blu-ray looks amazing. I think the color timing and everything on the Blu-ray is perfect, and that's the version of the movie that I really do prefer color-wise. Now, overall, I do think that the 4K is top-notch. I think it's an amazing 4K, but going from the 4K scan and restoration on a Blu-ray to the actual 4K disc, it is a noticeable difference, but not something that was like leaps and bounds. It's a very, very minor slight difference, and some people might prefer the Dolby Vision on that. Now, how your TV's set up and how you have everything, you might enjoy the Dolby Vision, but comparing it on the Vivid setting between the two, I personally love the Dolby or the Blu-ray and the color contrast on the Blu-ray a lot more than I do on the 4K version of the movie. So personally, if you don't have this film, huge win, huge upgrade. You have both discs, so you can totally make that decision for yourself. But if you have that original 2013 Blu-ray, this is going to be a huge upgrade for you. If you have that 2021 version, it's going to be a very slight minor upgrade based on everything that I saw with this. This is a 2K scan. It's going to have that same thing with the 2017 version of this, the Blu-ray, that this one had. So I expect that it's going to be a very small, slight uptick, and something that maybe you don't need to pick up day one. Wait for a sale on this one. Overall, I think they did a decent job, and I'm glad that they included both the Blu-ray and the 4K, because I would have never been able to make that decision. Going from the VHS to the 4K is an amazing upgrade. I have links for this if you want to get it down below from Kino Lorber and Amazon. You can check that out. Let me know if you're going to be picking this one up and what your thoughts are on this. For more movie recommendations, check out this video right here. And with that, remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.